All right, welcome back to Daytime. Well, I always feel just a mild sense of redemption every time our next guest comes in part because as a child, I was the frequent recipient of the expression, don't play with your food. Whether that be blowing, it even occurs now at 36. I still play with my food, whether it be blowing bubbles in my milkshake or whichever. And Lazaro Pacheco, all I can say is when you play with your food, it is masterful. It is artful. And these are some fine examples of the things that can be done with fruit and vegetables.
Vegetables, yeah, that's right.
All right, so for those people that haven't seen you on our show before, I just want to briefly get into your history. I mean, how of all things did you end up one day being a fruit carver?
20 years ago in Cuba, I was taking a course right there. And here in Canada, I own my own ideas and start doing those things.
Wonderful.
Pretty much.
Wonderful. And I mean, this obviously takes years of practice in order to get it right. I mean, because you're dealing with such delicate things. I mean, we're going to be carving a melon shortly here.
Yes.
And I mean, for anybody who's ever actually tried to get through the initial is it a husk? The rind, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
The rind, the initial rind. When that's the tough part.
Yeah.
But then when you try to get delicate with that, you're kind of at the whim of the very watery nature of a watermelon. And what we see here, it looks like a bouquet of flowers.
Yeah. To start it, you have to carve some part of the watermelon to make sure you don't crack in the first shot. And then after we peel the watermelon and start carving the flowers.
And what you obviously do here is you utilize kind of the natural properties of every fruit and vegetable to obviously to make it take the form. I mean, obviously what you have is you have initial rind, which is that dark tough layer, and then you get into the lighter green part, which you actually use to kind of appear like the lighter tips of petals. And then as it recedes, it gets darker into that beautiful rich pink, which again gives it so much depth. And that's an active choice. I mean, there's certain, I would guess there are certain vegetables you couldn't do, or fruits you couldn't do that with.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a tomato. You wouldn't
Tomato
want to
is kind of easy, yeah.
Yeah, oh, very good. And we'll get into some other, I'd like you to identify in a few moments, but we'll start here, some of the other vegetables that are used. But when we look at these sort of things, right off the top of my head, I see things like at weddings, at banquets, these sort of functions, ideal just to take the presentation up a notch.
Yes.
And is that typically how
the
sort
I
of
work
things
for
you work
Portuguese
on?
Club Kitchener, and I do those centerpieces on fruit carvings and fruit tray for midnight tables.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so if I may, I'm going to pull out these two lovely watermelons, and you're going to show me, and I big heavy warning here, especially after the weekend
I'm going to carve in the papaya.
Okay. And
that's what the next.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And
See, I like just to jump ahead. He's going to run the interview here. That's not a problem. Okay, so I'm going to let you take away at it. So show us what you're going to do here.
Okay, we're going to make a flower.
We're going to make a flower. All right, so it's just
make a circle.
All right, so perfect circle. Do you have a preferred knife? I noticed that all of these have a slight curve to them generally. Yeah.
Just going to make the center of the flower.
I like how you say we're just going to make the center of the flower. I mean, it just because it's so easy for you.
No, it's easy. It'll be easy for you too.
You haven't seen me with a knife yet.
No? Where?
No?
In the kitchen?
I was going to say we might in fact need first aid on standby here.
Yeah.
You're going to get me to cut, and the thing is I don't have the luxury of the apron to use it as a tourniquet this time, so.
Fine.
All right, so
That's
there
the
we
first
go.
Step.
So you've done two consecutive kind of circles. And it smells good too.
Yeah.
There we go.
So we're going to start make the petals of the flower.
Okay, so we're continuing with the petals of the flower. All right. So you're just making two cuts to mimic kind of the petal shape. So they're kind of free flowing. You kind of have a bit of a C curve to it.
Yeah.
And how many petals are we doing here approximately?
5, 4.
Yep. And they're all approximately equal size.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I got to tell you, Sue and I were both talking, while you're doing that, we were talking off camera about how very relaxed this fountain is making us right now.
Very what?
Very relaxed. We feel like we're at a spa right now. So I feel very lulled into your fruit carving.
This is a flower, so we're just going to cut the size.
Okay. So you're cutting the area in between the cuts.
In between the cuts, yeah.
Okay.
To showing the petals.
There we go. Oh.
Kind of simple.
And the thing is, again, this is papaya, right?
Yes.
So again, you have that the initial green of the outer rind, then you have that kind of the soft orange, and then you're getting into a pink. So again, it's giving an incredible amount of depth. Look at that.
Yeah. So you can also make a leaf right here.
Look at that. And you're just adding, the veins. Really, really simple. I mean, and the best part is if you screw up, you can just start again on a new piece of fruit and eat the mistakes, right? You often find, I mean, you probably get more vitamin C than most people, right? You will never get scurvy, I imagine.
Yeah.
You probably get more than enough vitamin C for a lifetime.
Come in one more here.
Okay, so we're just going to continue the petals. Now, if someone was interested in obviously having you create some original pieces for their banquet or wedding, how would they go about doing that?
They contact me by email, and also I teach in a workshop May the 1st and the market in Kitchener, 300 King Street East. So they can call the number and register for the workshop, and also email me if they're interested in any weddings, any parties.
And that's it. I mean, if you're watching the show right now and you're saying, hey, I'd love to learn more, again, you will be at the Kitchener Market. You will be doing an instructional, so you'll be able to teach people how to do these things themselves. And again, once you get past kind of it seems overwhelming to actually deal with fruit or vegetables in this manner, but once you actually see how it's done, it's really quite easy. I mean, here I was joking, but I mean, you made a few simple cuts, and we have something really quite stunning. And I mean, you could work on that more, obviously.
Yeah.
And
have more sophisticated flowers. But
Yeah.
this is the easy ones.
Absolutely. And we should mention, too, to keep your fruit looking so fresh, you use a combination of lemon and water, and you just spray it lightly, and it keeps it from
Especially
going,
for the apples and pears. You put lemon and lemon juice on water,
Wonderful.
and they keep it white.
Excellent. Well, we're not done with you. We're going to come back into the kitchen, and we're going to, this time we'll actually for real work on a watermelon. See, here I am, a liar. So there's more to come with Lazaro in the kitchen and more daytime, so stay with us, folks.